Welcome to Chi-Town Cigar Podcast, the podcast where three Chicago guys light up a fine cigar and get into everything from sports and current events to hobbies, life's little moments, and everything in between. Whether you're here for the cigars, the conversation, or just some good laughs, we got you covered. So grab your favorite smoke, settle in, and join us for laid-back chats with a Chicago twist. Now it's time to put some smoke in the air.
It's Tuesday night in the Windy City, and that means another episode of Chi-Town Cigars. Glad you joined us live or listen to us later on Spotify, Apple Music, or iHeartRadio. And I think we're even making our way into Amazon Music, so you should be able to find us there as well. So I'm Mike coming to you live from the Aganorsa Studios in Central Illinois. What's up, guys? You ready for another show?
I am completely ready.
Every Tuesday, we're here.
Well, we don't want to delay. We've got our guest sitting in the green room, and there's going to be a lot to talk about. So I'm going to try to bring on Charlie Albanetti, a good Italian name, from Abbina Cigars. And let's see here. Here we go. Hey, Charlie, welcome to the show.
How are you? Thank you for having me.
Welcome, sir.
Thank you.
No, it's our honor. As we were talking in the green room before we started, Teddy spotted you and was like, we've got to get this guy on our show. We got to get this guy on our show. And the more I started researching and looking into some of the stuff that you've done and with your sodas, we'll get into it tonight. You're definitely a fit for our show. It's great to have somebody a little bit different and somebody that's breaking some new ground with creating a sipping soda specifically for cigars. So why don't you tell us the whole theory behind it, your idea, and what's been going on?
Yeah, so I think it's one of the cool aspects of this project that I have been working on for selling for about 2.5 years now, and working on for 1.5 years prior to that, is coming into the industry with no experience other than just a fan, just a nerd about cigars and loving cigars, but no actual business or industry experience, and bringing something that's entirely new. So far there has been no competition, so nobody else is doing anything that is quite like this, and I really have been incredibly honored to be welcomed with open arms by so many people in the industry. It's really shocking. It's just, I think, a testament to probably the experience that all of us have had in our cigar spaces, and how the sort of like camaraderie and friendship and mutual support that can kind of come from this fun hobby. I've seen that as well. So I think it's been a pretty exciting experience to be able to bring in something new and enjoy inherent respect right from the start about it.
I don't know what's going on there. There we go. Yeah, it's pretty amazing. I know, as I've been looking at it, and it's great that you don't have competition, but it's great too because this lifestyle, this industry definitely does put a good emphasis on alcohol and the pairings of alcohol. And we've actually done a couple shows now with tea and coffee. So it seems only fitting that we're doing one on soda. So it's exciting what you're bringing to the industry. And I'm glad you're getting a good reception from everybody.
Thank you. Yeah. One of the things, the thing that drove me to starting the whole concept to begin with is that, I started smoking before I was of drinking age. And so I would drive around in my car and go through a drive-through and get a Coke, right? Because you need something to drink while you're driving and smoking a cigar. And so, that just continued for the next, 2.5 decades. After that, that was my sort of pairing of choice. I like the sweetness. I like the cold. I like the carbonation. It's kind of soothing. And all of those things made sense. And honestly, I do drink from time to time, and my flavor preferences have always been kind of more about like cocktails and mix things rather than like the straight whiskeys, right? And so like the typical pairings that so many people are doing with alcohol in the cigar world were never really my preference anyway. It never really clicked for me. I try to understand it, and I like it's I can see the value in it if that's the kind of beverage that you prefer. But from a pairing perspective, I was really trying to come up with something that was actually unique even from any other beverage pairing that exists now. And so one of the things that you'll notice as you're sampling all four of the flavors is that I usually, when I'm sampling it in person for folks, I'll tell them, smell it first. I'll usually pour a little cup and sample it for people, right? And I'll tell them, smell it first. And, I'm drinking Vinny tonight. And on Vinny, you smell some tropical fruit, then taste it, put it in your mouth, then swallow it and breathe out through your nose. The same way that you retrohale a cigar, you retrohale the soda, and you're actually getting a different flavor experience when you do that. Each flavor of Abbina is also constructed in a way where when you smell it and you kind of first get it in your mouth, you're going to get hit with one or more flavors that are pretty strong, but are actually going to leave your palate almost immediately. And then as you sip it over time, slowly sipping it, there's going to be a flavor that you're going to realize is building up more and more and more. That flavor is going to linger on your palate and stay with you, even if you put the soda down for 5, 10, 15, maybe even half an hour. That flavor is going to actually stick with you and interact with the smoke. And so this is when we talk about pairing, I think a lot of times people are using that term as shorthand for drinking and smoking.
Yeah.
And drinking and smoking is not necessarily actually pairing, right? Like pairing, to me, I think like if we actually think about it a little bit, pairing is actually when we're combining two things to create something new, or to essentially desensitize our palate so that we find something that we couldn't find otherwise, right? So two types of pairings that I think about. One is enhancement, where you're essentially desensitizing your palate by two flavors that are the same and pulling out something that you wouldn't otherwise detect. And then the second one is creation, where you're combining A plus B, you get C, totally new thing, discovery. It's the most exciting thing in the world, right? Like we could, when we're doing that, we have the opportunity to be the first people in the history of the universe to taste a particular flavor, because flavor is smell and smell is infinite. Flavor smells just through the back of our nose, right? Smell is infinite possibilities. As humans, we have the ability to smell an infinite number of smells, all sorts of molecules that have yet to even be discovered in the world. We have the opportunity to be on the frontier of something new, and especially given that my stuff is relatively fixed. It's it's consistent. It's all the same. Your bottle is the same as the other guy's bottle, right? But the cigar is not necessarily. The cigar as a sort of natural organic product could very well be giving me a different flavor, even if it's the exact same cigar, different flavor than you're getting, or I'm experiencing it differently. I'm thinking of it differently because of my past experiences or whatever. Create new flavors that way. It's so that sort of opportunity of really thinking about what pairing is and the creation of new flavors is to me one of the most exciting parts of it. I ramble about it because I'm just like I'm still such a nerd about it. 2.5 years in, I can't get enough of it. I love it.
Well, you said it, and I guess I didn't ask everybody, but what are you smoking? And we all know what we're drinking, but what flavor are you drinking? So, Marty, what are you smoking?
I cannot hear you, Mike. I don't know if that's.
I can hear him.
Oh. Yeah, I can hear him.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Can you hear me too?
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say before we go any further to see what we're smoking and pairing it. So, what do you got today, Charlie? What are you smoking?
Today I'm smoking this year's version of the Rojas Cinco de Mayo.
Oh, nice.
And I'm pairing it with Vinny. Vinny's the soda flavor that I generally choose for kind of a savory, meatier kind of flavor in a cigar. Bolder, and Vinny is designed to be essentially the components of jerk seasoning, like jerk chicken, right? So the theory is if you have a meaty tasting cigar, it's going to go well with those flavors because jerk seasoning goes well with meat, right? And so yeah, that's my my thinking on that pairing.
Yeah. So today, because when we booked the show, didn't know. Actually, I was already booked. I was going on vacation, so I'm today in Florida, in Sarasota by Siesta Key. But I'm doing a Cuban. Yeah, I'm doing an Upman. I wanted my collection. I got one more Cubans. I think I maybe have like 30, 35 Cubans. But yeah, nice Magnum Upman 56 with a Tower 44. I took your, the little paper that you have inside the box I received, and the cigar suggestions was a Cuban style. So I was just like, hey, we're in Florida. Why not?
Nice.
Yeah, I mean, and to be honest, like the recommendations that I put on the flyer, they're highly generic. Obviously, like you could a Cuban cigar can be incredibly light, or it can be incredibly full, or it can be anything in between. There's sort of like general characteristics that I try to like guide you on. That particular cigar, I've never had it. I can't tell. So you'll have to tell us if that's the right pairing or not. But yeah, generally, like from my experience, the Cuban-esque cigar that's got maybe just a little bit of spice, but it's the hay and the kind of hay and earthy qualities and grassy qualities
Nice.
go well with the patchouli, and a hint of leather hits really nicely with the saffron in Tower 44.
Nice. Marty, what are you smoking, drinking?
I have the Red Meat Lovers beef stick, and I am pairing that also with the Vinny, which, boy, when you first pour these and you give it a sniff, yeah, it does remind you of like a Caribbean luau or something.
Yeah. So, I mean, and it's, to me, this one is particularly interesting where, you really get the fruitiness with a little bit of spice on the nose, but as soon as it's in your mouth, all the baking spices come out so much more. And then you feel a little bit of tickle of heat on the back of your throat. That, is a fun compliment.
Yeah. I am doing the Postania San Andreas.
San
Andreas, yes, with the Vinny.
You guys are going to have to translate for me what Mike is saying because I still can't hear him.
Mike gets a
really
gremlin in his system every so often. I don't know why it's only affecting you, Charlie.
Yeah, there's
weird. Times when I wish I couldn't hear Mike. Usually on Tuesday, I like to hear him though.
Yeah, I can hear Mike. I don't know
that he is smoking a Postani San Andreas with.
Yeah,
I think he's also doing the Vinny.
Vinny. Yep.
Awesome. Yeah.
So all of you guys doing the Vinny, huh? Nice. Okay.
But I think that would, based on San Andreas and Red Meat Lovers is one that, I've had many times, and I would think Vinny is ideal for it. So I think you guys picked the first choice that I would suggest, and then, but I mean, part of it also is experimentation, right? Like you just never know what's going to actually happen, and playing around with them is all part of the fun.
Right.
I really like your suggestions though, like the Cuban. I mean, obviously I don't smoke a lot of Cubans. I know a lot of people out there that smoke a lot of Cubans. Due to it enhances a lot of that. The smoke is usually like, so even with alcohol, sometimes you get a good enhancing of the flavor, but it really enhances the smoke flavor. And then, like you said earlier in the beginning of the episode, even I took a sip like 4 minutes ago, it still does the work. So it's really nice.
Right. Yeah.
Really
I mean,
good.
On Tower 44, you're going to find that the patchouli is, an ingredient that a lot of people have an aversion to, or at least they think they have an aversion to, from, maybe too much desensitization from it during the 70s. I was born after, so I didn't have that problem myself. But I love patchouli, and I can take it in a heavier dose. But I think in Tower 44, it's dosed in a way where it's really enhancing to tobacco smoke generally, which is why most flavored cigars, which are not my wheelhouse, but most flavored cigars actually have some patchouli as part of the flavor. So
Yeah. I get a lot of the rose too. Rose is in there too, like you said on the bottle.
Right. And so the patchouli is the thing that's going to linger and stay with you, right? Like
Yeah.
that's you're going to taste 5, 10, 15 minutes down the road. It'll still be there and it'll be playing around with that smoke, giving you new things. Do you think I should log off and try logging back on?
Well, can you hear Mike now?
Can you hear me now?
No.
No?
That's weird.
Interesting, because
like
like we
troubleshooting step, Charlie, for you to
Yeah.
You think I should just jump in and come back?
Yeah, I think that's probably
Let me try
the
that.
only way.
So I guess while we're waiting for him to come back,
This is let's say hello. I was about to tell you. Yes, please.
Yeah.
Let's say hello to everybody. Show some comments.
Yeah. Joshua, good evening. Glad you're here. Eric, glad you're here. He's Zion Ghoul of Gotham. Nice.
This is it for you, Eric.
Sammy Flo, good evening. Glad you're here. TX, Aganor's signature. Very nice. Glad you're here. Let's see what else we got. Teddy's over there flexing by the pool side.
It's the little pool I have for 6 people. Hello.
Sammy says he's attended events with Charlie and the people love the soda. So that's fantastic.
That's beautiful.
Randy Harrison, glad you're joining us. This is the first time Randy's joined us, so it's glad to see you here.
Randy,
she loves the soda.
Welcome to the show.
Yeah. Luke is saying hello.
Luke, hello.
He's doing the black label trading Deliverance Nocturne and a Vinny soda. So very good.
Another one with Vinny. Beautiful.
Wayne is doing the Esteli Puro Ice Mountain. And gotta say this soda is damn good. So that's high praises from Luke. Good to see you there.
Appreciate that.
Yeah. Let's see what else we got. Randy Harrison is totally recommending ordering the sampler. Yeah, I agree. So
so I did 2 samplers. I don't know where my mind was, but I ordered I don't know if you saw my name, if you do the sales, Charlie, but I ordered 2 boxes. So we got 24 bottles from your soda.
And just so you know too, Wilson is a friend of ours. He is opening a lounge up in Nashville. So definitely Wilson, I can get you Charlie's information and you guys can talk and maybe get some of that soda into your new lounge. I definitely think this will really go well in Nashville. I think this is some different sodas and something that people.
Yeah, I don't think I have any lounges in Nashville yet. I'm in about 75 now around the country.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Awesome. That's awesome.
Got 30, 35 new ones at this year's PCA. So, a bunch of those are relatively new. And some cycle in and out and whatever, but so I don't think I have any in Nashville, so I would be excited to chat about that.
Yeah. So one of the things I heard as I was doing some research on you, and it's I guess it sort of goes into how Abbina sipping soda got started. You were involved in the dark world of politics.
Well, I like to think I was trying to make it a little bit brighter. I went to school for politics and I grew up in Connecticut. I moved to Albany, New York, to go to school here, the capital of New York, and ended up getting an internship and basically staying with that organization more or less for the next 20 years, until I was, done with it. But yeah, I that was my hobby in college. I was just totally obsessed with it and loved it. And I loved working in it for a lot of time. And, I think I'm somebody who's pretty, for lack of a better term, like mission driven. Like I need some kind of purpose in life. And I want that to be something that I feel really passionately about, or else there isn't much reason for me to get up in the morning. Right. And so that was very much a driving force behind that career path. But as you can imagine, it wears on you over time. And I felt like I had made the contribution that I had a sort of, moral drive to achieve, and did what I could do with the energy that I had in my life. And at that point, felt like I really needed to just get out of it and try a different aspect of life. Just experience life in a different way. And so, I was, one day just sitting in my basement here. This is my basement. I was sitting here in my basement, smoking a cigar and drinking a soda, waiting for the idea to come to me that would allow me to leave that career path and start something new, with no idea what that would be. And it just occurred to me, this mainstream soda that I'm drinking totally sucks. I can make something better. And I just decided to actually go upstairs and make it for myself. It wasn't a business idea at that point. It was, let's see if I can just play around. I've always loved cooking. I love food. I love that sort of like sensory experience. And so, I was just messing around with it, and eventually realized that I thought I was making something that was decent enough that somebody else might like to try. So see if it'll work. And that's how that got started.
So how long did it take you, to get to say, okay, this is going to be Vinny, this is going to be Ghetto, Candlewood, Tower, Royale. How many tries did you take it? And did you compare? I know you say it's generic, suggestions and stuff like that, but like, did you actually try a lot of cigars and to get to that point?
So stop me if I go too long-winded here, because there's like a lot of ways to answer
Yeah.
that question.
If you watch our show last week, you're not going to go.
You are fine. Yes.
All right.
Please.
Like I get excited about this stuff, but I don't know if I'll like super boring. So just cut me off if I go on a tirade here. But okay, so I started with the idea that if I'm going to make a soda, I want it to be like a candy, cherry, artificial cherry flavor. I love like cherry Jolly Ranchers, like cherry Laffy Taffy. Like I love artificial cherry flavor. I think that goes good with cigar smoke. That was just a starting point. Like if I'm going to make a soda, that's where I'm going to start. In my brain, almond extract, like used for baking, right, has this kind of cherry vanilla quality to it. So went upstairs, started messing around with vanilla or with almond extract as a basis, and then I'm like, well, cherries are red, even though the thing I'm mixing isn't quite red yet.
Yeah.
What else goes with red, and how do I make it relevant to a cigar? Beets popped into my head, right? Like beets are red, beets are earthy. Earthy is a note that you're going to find in a cigar. Let's put some fake cherry in with some natural beet and see what happens. So I buy a juicer, I start juicing beets.
Wow.
I'm mixing it with almond extract and messing around. And so that's one aspect of how I start formulating that idea, something that I want, and then something that makes sense with it in the context of a cigar. All that being said, a few years prior to this whole that aha moment of sitting and wanting to create a beverage, I had gotten pretty deep into a hobby of perfumery, starting off just like buying a lot of fragrances because I had this like vague scent memory of an uncle who had died 20 years 30 years prior to that, but like he was in my grandmother's house, and I just had this like musky smell. What is this fragrance that my uncle was wearing? So I started like buying every fragrance I could to figure out what he was wearing, and then I just went completely overboard in a ridiculous way and learned a lot about it. Also learned in the process about how it's made. Took some courses on how fragrances are made, bought a lot of raw materials for making fragrances. Not that I ever intended to do that as a business or anything. I just like curious about how it's actually done. Yeah. Learn the chemistry behind that process. And so when I started messing around with the soda and thinking about how I turn that into an actual commercial operation and researching that, what I quickly learned was that the fragrance industry that sells you the little vials of single molecules that are the raw materials that you make fragrances with are actually it's literally the same exact company selling the same exact product to all of the companies that are making flavors. So like this flavored seltzer that I'm drinking right now that has pineapple and lemon, the so-called natural pineapple is not actually, it's not like a pineapple extract. It's a bunch of natural molecules, what we would call aroma chemicals in perfumery, but they're naturally derived, right? Like, but they're not. It has nothing to do with pineapple, except that it happens to be a chemical that is found in pineapple, and it can still be natural or it can be artificial. Doesn't matter, right? But you eventually put all these things together, and you create a flavor, which is again a smell that is comparable to pineapple. So for example, that whole almond extract thing, when you do a chemical breakdown, a molecular breakdown of almond extract, like something like 70-80% of what's in almond extract is a molecule called benzaldehyde. Single molecule, can be naturally derived, can be synthetically derived, comes in a number of plants and plant matter outside of just almonds. But if I, when I'm doing the sampling, and our friend who mentioned that, he's been to an event with me, he may very well have gotten the experience to smell. I bring these vials, so I bring a vial of benzaldehyde, and it's basically the cleanest experience of what almond extract smells like. And so you're using that, but you don't have to deal with all the excess stuff. You don't have to deal with necessarily the expense or inconsistency of an almond extract that is actually coming from crushed almonds, right? And so all of those sort of that understanding that chemistry side of things helped me be able to then, at the point at which I wanted to commercialize the whole soda thing, hire a flavorist or a flavor chemist, or they use these kind of terms, a flavor lab. So I work with a flavorist in Louisville, and basically sent them the roughest of formulas and concepts, and they send me back say like 3 iterations of each flavor. They ship them to me. I taste them for say 5 days a week or whatever. We do a conference call. They get my feedback on those. They take another 3 or 4 weeks, send me another set of samples. For the first round that we did that, of the first 4 flavors here, that back and forth took about 10 months.
Wow.
So, and then at the last stage, I just went down there and we spent a day together in their lab, and we do like 5 iterations of that process just in the course of a day in person, right? And actually lock in the final formulas at that point. So what then happens is that when they're doing that kind of formulation, they're only basically creating a formula that's the equivalent of what gets put into one bottle or 5 bottles or 10 bottles. They have to create it so that, my batch is 500 gallons per flavor, right? So like, it's not a one-to-one. I don't understand why it's not a one-to-one thing. I'm not a flavor chemist, but it's not a one-to-one thing. They then take 3 months with whatever they did, scale up the formula, and then they tell me they're ready. They do a whole production manual for me. I order the flavor concentrate from them. They ship it to my manufacturer. My manufacturer gets all the other ingredients that we need, or I do, have it shipped to them, like the agave and I use preservatives, the organic cane sugar, and then they mix it and I have it stored here in a warehouse here in Albany. So basically, to answer your question from a production perspective. Creating a new flavor, it could be as little as 3 or 4 months, but if it's something entirely new, it's probably nearly a year-long process to actually do it. And then, one other thing I'll just mention is like, Tower 44, right? That flavor started with the concept of saffron. Because saffron to me is like a fine suede, and I wanted a leather note in one of the flavors. So we started with saffron, added in the dark Indonesian patchouli that I think has some leathery facets, but is also just super complex. And then all of that stuff is just made easy to drink with the grapefruit flavor, right? So like the grapefruit is essentially tangential, even though that's the first thing you're going to experience when you drink it. Really, the cool thing, the exciting part of that flavor is the patchouli and the saffron that are unlike any other beverage you're going to find. And so one other way that I also approach the conceptualization of the flavors is that I'll literally be sitting down here and I'll wear a new fragrance and just like smell the smoke in the air along with the fragrance that's on my arm. And if something clicks, something's magic about it, like just start playing with it.
I don't know, man. I love it. It's too craft. It's really crafty. I love it. It's just it's just something new, and especially for the people that are not drinking alcohol out there, you know, they want to just try to pair something and this, and you know, honest to God, I think I want to try this just with just food without having cigars, because right, it's not only just for cigars.
Yeah, there's a whole food
no,
pairing
I highly recommend pairing it with food, because you're gonna, you know, in the same way that wine is paired with food. You're gonna find new, again, that whole concept of flavor creation. It's gonna happen.
Yep.
Do you have people that do make mixed drinks with these as the base?
Yeah, I now have a number of lounges that are retailers that have, you know, full bars, and so they will do cocktails with them, and you know, people do that. And the flyer also has some basic recommendations about how you might approach it.
Imagine you
starting point.
make some.
I mean, I will say that they are complex enough that it's actually kind of hard to go too crazy with cocktail recipes, because then you just get into muddy chaos. But I think I think they mix well with you know, just one or two additions to make a cocktail, and the food possibilities are endless.
I know Randy really is good at making mixed drinks, so maybe she has some ideas if she's trying to create any cocktails with these.
Matt Berger,
there's some there's some questions I was about to tell you.
Matt Berger wants to know, do you have more flavors in the works?
So I haven't started. I have not contracted with my flavorist to make them yet, but I do have 4 very solid concepts that as soon as the business can handle as soon as the business has capacity for it, we will pursue that. And then I think, obviously there's infinite possibility on it.
Yeah. Wayne Brock just ordered a sampler, so
thank you. I appreciate that. We'll
and
get
then
that out tomorrow.
I don't know if you're aware. Are you aware of Rocky Mountain Cigar Fest? I'm sure you are. Or maybe you've heard about it. But Fireborn wants to know if you're going to be at Rocky Mountain Cigar Fest in August.
I doubt that I will be there because it's in August and it's already June, and I don't have plans to be there, and that's pretty far away from me. But I think I'm pretty sure that is one on my list that over in the next few years I will attempt to get out there.
Yeah, no, definitely. It's
those ones that are on the other side of the country are a little bit more challenging for me.
Oh yeah, especially when you're bringing soda.
It's like this is like sending this thing anywhere is an absurd concept that takes a lot of resources.
I heard you on another podcast talk about how you tested the boxes that you send the soda in. And I can't picture what he was saying, and is he threw a box full of bottles onto the ground to see if it was going to break or not. So I just can't picture your heart had to be pounding pretty hard going, I hope I have this right, because obviously you're not going to put soda in there, but at the same point it's like going, to keep trying it over and over again is going to be a nerve-wracking experience.
Yeah, no, I mean, I initially started just buying boxes and shipping material that, was out there designed for bottles, but maybe there was one company that had a 24 count box, but most every company limited it to 12 bottles of this size. And if there was one company that had a 24 count box, it was probably like $30 per box to buy it, right? Wow. Which is a deal breaker. I started working with a box company, right? Like a company that makes boxes, which is actually just like the way more efficient way to approach this thing. There are box companies everywhere. Like if you're not a person who buys boxes, in bulk, then you don't know that. But there are box companies everywhere.
Oh,
So
yeah.
I found a really good local box company, relatively local, upstate New York, that helped me through that process. And yeah, but it's literally for the 24 pack. You know, they had never done anything like that before, and so. You know, I had done a 12 count and a 4 count with them previously, and so we just took that concept, and they made one for me, and I'm literally just fill it up with soda and throw it across the room and see what happens, and it held up pretty well. So
Yeah, I'm very thankful actually when I opened the boxes and I flew to Florida and I was like, how am I gonna put this sodas inside the suitcase, because I got a suitcase and the material that you have inside, I literally, because it comes in twos, I just picked it up, put my 2 bottles, and it got here perfectly.
Yeah, I mean,
in
you'll
my
notice
suitcase.
that
It was awesome.
Like, the inner inserts and the outer box are this like double thickness. It's like super cardboard that is actually pretty hard to break down. So yeah, it's good stuff.
Yeah,
Joe,
very smart boxing material. So
Joe wants to know if getting a soda from Florida to New York is as difficult as getting a spirit here from New York.
I mean, I think it's probably way easier. It's just from a cost perspective, it's not as efficient, right? Like, because your single bottle of liquor is way more valuable than the equivalent weight and size of my product, right? Like, my product is a very low value product. I mean, I hate saying it that way, obviously.
Right.
Like, I think it's the most valuable product in the world, but
Cost per ounce.
Yes.
but like it's actually like in comparison, it's a low value product, so it just is incredibly expensive to ship comparatively to anything else. But from a regulations perspective, and dealing with either shipping companies that are going to give you a hard time about it, or governments that are going to give you a hard time about it, there's no real problem from that perspective.
Are there any laws around like registering food, drink products in different states, or is that pretty much a centralized?
No, I mean, some states have bottle deposits, so I have to deal with that. And in New York, there's essentially a food warehouse license. I have it manufactured at a small soda company in Connecticut, and they have their own regulations that they meet, and my contract with them basically says they're taking care of their end of things, so I'm good. So yeah, it's not the regulation side for me actually isn't all that cumbersome. Like there's a little bit that you got to work out, but it's not terrible.
And you're still a one-man show, correct? You're still doing this all by yourself? Yeah.
Yeah, my wife helps on weekends sometimes.
Okay.
Yep.
Wow.
I'm kind of curious. So when you went from the single bottle to the 500 gallon, you said batch, how well did that translate? Did they like nail it the first time, or?
So yeah, they all, well, I mean, yes, it has to nail it the first time, right? Like, or if it doesn't, it's just too bad because it's expensive. Like I can't throw away a 500 gallon batch. I'd be out of business. Like it's not possible to do that. I will say that the flavors that you're tasting now are not the same flavors as the first 2 or 3 batches that I did. At some point, about a year in, I had gotten enough feedback on them and enough personal experience from them that I wanted to tweak them a little bit. So Royale is still virtually identical, but the other 3 are a little tweaked. Vinny being the most tweaked. If anybody had the original Vinny, it had this kind of like very savory, funky quality to it that a lot of people would smell it and be somewhat off-put by it, and then drink it, and it tasted good, but had this fragrance that was a little bit weird. And so we just like smoothed that out. And so that one was the one that was most substantially changed. And that did happen in that scaling up process. And I mean, just from a specifics perspective, they were essentially recreating the flavor structure of jerk seasoning for Vinny, right? And that jerk seasoning has components that are savory, like garlic. and so they actually used, you know, a minuscule amount of garlic in that original formula. And I guess what was happening is that they were using, because, you know, you're not using garlic in beverages very often, and in their lab sample that they were putting into the individual bottles was actually quite weak. When they bought fresh stuff and put it into the large batch, it was way stronger, and it came across way stronger, and they had no way of knowing that it was going to happen until we actually made it. And it was like actually kind of, you know, it was disappointing, and I dealt with it for a year. You know, like it is what it is.
And that's why you say the the suggestion will be good with a barbecue, like a nice grilled meat, right?
I mean, it still
If
goes
you know.
great with but that's the whole concept, is like you can definitely go too far with the weird, right? Like and make it to a point where it's like this is actually going to turn people off. I don't want to go that far. Like I want it to be something unlike you've ever tasted before, but I don't want to go so far as you don't actually want to drink it anymore.
Yeah.
Well,
let's take a quick break here, and then we're going to come back and we're going to go over the 4 different flavors that Charlie has. We'll take some more of your questions, and we will continue our interview with Charlie Albanetti from Abbina Sipping Sodas.
Step into luxury at Ultimate Cigar Lounge, where passion meets perfection. Discover a world of premium cigars, hand-selected from the finest tobacco regions. From bold beginners to seasoned aficionados, our curated collection delights every palate. Grab a cigar from our amazing selection, pair it with freshly brewed coffee or fine spirits, and sit back and relax in an atmosphere of elegance and warmth. Ultimate Cigar Lounge, your haven for unforgettable moments. Visit us today and ignite your senses. Ultimate Cigar Lounge, located in Villa Park, Illinois. Looking for the ultimate eyewear experience in Chicagoland? Discover Eyewear Fix, your premier eyewear store for over 28 years. From sunglasses to sports glasses to safety gear, we've got it all at every price point. Bring your prescription, and we'll handle the rest. Our appointment-only office offers a private, concierge-style experience tailored to your busy schedule. Call or text Chris at 630-853-4167 to book your visit and see why Eyewear Fix surpasses expectations. Eyewear Fix, where style meets precision. Get your fix today.
There's nobody on anymore. There we go. This episode of Chi-Town Cigars is brought to you by Aganorsa Leaf Cigars, where great cigars begin exactly where they should, with the tobacco. Grown from authentic Cuban seed tobacco on Aganorsa's own farms in Nicaragua, these cigars are built on flavor, balance, and craftsmanship. No gimmicks, no shortcuts. From the first light to the final draw, you taste the difference when the leaf comes first. Aganorsa Leaf Cigars, the leaf is our strength. And we are back, maybe. I don't know, Marty.
All right, so while we were doing a break, you know, I didn't even plan this. So I have some mahi bites grilled.
Okay.
And it pairs great with this, Charlie. I don't know if you heard me, but this is, I really did not plan on. I got dinner for after the episode is done, but this mahi bites with this Tower 44 is just so great, dude. So really nice job. Yeah,
that's a very cool discovery there.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah,
sounds good to discover those things. All right, so there's 4 different flavors, and I sort of put a little slide together here. Why don't you talk about the Candlewood Craft Sipping Soda, and what that all entails, and what you recommend for those of us that are checking this out.
Yeah, so Candlewood, as I kind of mentioned before, is the first concept that came up. Again, started with this kind of candy cherry flavor, which is largely created around this molecule called benzaldehyde, the primary ingredient in or the primary component of almond extract. So you get this amaretto quality as well. That's what you smell in the nose. And then I think Candlewood probably more distinctly than any of the other 4 flavors, when you smell it, it's actually really hard to detect the earthiness on the nose. It's not until you swallow it and breathe out, essentially retrohaling the soda, where you're going to get the earthiness. And so it's a flavor of beet, but there's also an ingredient called oak moss. Oak moss is the form that you get it in it's called an absolute. It's essentially a extract of oak moss that if you were to find oak moss out in the wild, it doesn't actually smell like anything, but it's a really significant and important component in classic perfumery. Not so much used anymore because in its raw form, it had the potential to cause skin allergies, and so there's now available a modified version of oak moss that has the particular molecules that cause the skin sensitivity removed. So it can be used in perfumery, but during the time that was kind of being worked out by the fragrance industry, it kind of fell out of fashion. So it's not really used all that much in fragrances anymore, but any classic fragrance made prior to, like the early 90s, it's a really critical component. And the reason is that it's what's called in perfumery, it's called a fixative. These are very, from a molecular weight perspective, very heavy molecules. So when it's in a fragrance, it's going to linger on your skin, essentially last on your skin for a lot longer, make the fragrance last on your skin a lot longer. And that's why the same thing, one of the reasons why I use it in this, not only to provide an earthy quality, but with far more complexity than beet could ever do. Because I think, as was Wayne mentioned, like beets just taste like dirt, right? Like that's true. Beets just taste like sweet dirt.
Yeah.
And oak moss's earthiness, but it's way more complex. It's kind of this warm, woolly, fuzzy forest floor quality that has a lot more complexity. But it also gives you that opportunity to stay on your palate, interact with the smoke, and give you new flavors. And so with Candlewood, I kind of recommend it with a darker cigar that has some natural sweetness to it, or a cigar that maybe has some citrusy notes or kind of tangy, acidic kind of notes. And you'll find that in either of those circumstances, the kind of creamy qualities in the cigar will really pop out at you a lot more, being enhanced by that oak moss that's on the back end.
One of the things you say in the flyer that comes with the soda is it's also recommended for an aromatic pipe tobacco. So I would assume that sort of falls in line with the Dunbarton Stillwell grouping, and stuff like that. So
I've been studying this flyer a lot, Charlie. So you know.
Awesome. Yeah, the Holiday Stillwell I like a lot because it doesn't have the sweet tip, and I kind of don't prefer the sweet tip, but that one works great. And yeah, I mean, I tend to recommend it with any like aromatic pipe tobacco, with the exception of cherry flavored pipe tobacco. Similarly, with when we talk about Royale, I sort of recommend that for a cigar, as long as it's not a coffee or a chocolate flavored cigar.
Okay.
Right? Because those artificial flavors are not going to match up in the right way, and it's just going to be like a mess.
Yep.
But yeah,
cool.
A nice pipe tobacco cigar is the CEO. Which one is Mike? Stock.
Yeah.
Stock.
Yeah.
It has a little bit of
yeah.
cypress tobacco inside. It's really good.
Yep. Slasher wants to know, how do you learn about all these extracts and chemicals? I would accidentally poison pretty quickly trying these things.
Yeah. So I had started once COVID hit, there was an organization out in California that was a perfumery institute, and they had done these like multi-week, multi-month long perfumery intensive courses, but they had only done them in person. And so when COVID hit, they actually switched to them online. And I would order, when you're part of the class, you order a materials kit, and so you basically get these little vials here.
Oh wow!
From a vendor and you would order this kit that had, say, like 100 of these in it. And they would, week after week, you would do a Zoom class, and they would have you mix the stuff, and so yeah, that's essentially how you get it. And there is the fragrance industry is self-regulated. It's not a governmental entity, but it's a industry entity called the IFRA that essentially gives recommendations for maximum parts per million on like each of these things in a final product. Similarly, there is a division of the FDA that has they introduce regulation. It's not really regulation. It's a phrase called GRAS, which is an acronym for generally recommended as safe, GRAS. So they basically say in a non-alcoholic beverage, 20 parts per million. In an alcoholic beverage, 30 parts per million of any particular molecule that you have. And so each of these molecules, it has a number on it. These are, in some instances, they're if they're for fragrances, it's a CAS number. I can't really remember what that, but every ingredient has a number on it that you can then look up in the regulatory materials and determine what the maximum usage should be. And then it's like spreadsheet hell to figure out how you get 20 parts per million into a liter of final.
Yeah,
soda. That's very confusing. Like when we're talking about parts per million, we're talking about 10 decimal points in of, so like you're talking about a fraction of a fraction. So what I end up doing is basically I'll take a drop of this, put it into either grain alcohol or another carrier material called propylene glycol, then maybe take a drop of that and put it into another 100 mLs, and then, potentially doing that several times over before putting it into a simple syrup and then putting it into a bottle of water that I'm carbonating to create a final, sample of a soda.
I'm having flashbacks to like my freshman year.
Now I can't hear Marty.
Now you can't hear me.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, it's weird.
That happens when we like switch to the slides or something.
But yeah, like Slosswo says on the comments, there's a lot of science behind this, man. This is a lot of work. This is like no joke. This is like a true scientific, solving a problem and then just putting into a bottle.
Yeah, I mean, I'll just also say now I'm hearing myself doubly. I don't actually need to know most of that stuff, right? Like I'm hiring my flavorites lab to make sure that I'm not going to kill people with it. I just want to know more about it, so like I do learn about it, but I wouldn't actually necessarily have to.
We can hear everybody double.
That's weird. Can you hear me?
I got you.
But I'm hearing myself.
Yeah, hear myself too.
There's a double recording going on somewhere. Now we just lost Charlie. Oh boy, this is fun.
Oh boy. Three different studios.
Oh, there we go. Let's see if he comes back. Is that any better?
Difficult.
Let's test now.
Yeah. Still double.
That's crazy. I don't know. I'm not hearing double, so I don't know if it's me or if it's you guys or what.
Let me exit.
Let me test.
Everybody's exiting.
I do not hear myself double, but I don't hear you now, Mike, either.
Oh, jeez. It's only the fun times.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you just fine. All right, well, let me go out and you guys continue on, and we'll see if that's the problem.
Well, I have no idea where we left off. So I did have a question, though. So I put ice in mine. Do you recommend ice, or is that going to change the dilution or the taste?
Yeah, so generally my recommendation is to get it as cold as possible in the bottle and then drink it from there. Maybe even chilling the glass. If you really get on ice, I recommend kind of pouring a little bit over as big a cube as you can and then drinking and doing that a few times. And the reason is that I really wanted to get the sweetener as absolutely low as possible, just because people don't really like the sweetness, and also because you just don't need, you don't necessarily need that much sweetness, right? So, we're using organic agave as the primary sweetener with a little bit of organic cane sugar. But Candlewood Tower and Vinny are 100 calories versus 140, 150 that is your standard mainstream soda in the 12 ounces. So, about 2/3 of the sweetener. So you can imagine that if you're putting it on ice and it's warm to begin with, you're going to get a dilution that, might be a little bit muddy and a little unpleasant.
So what I did before we start, obviously we are here in Florida. There's a lot of humidity. I had it a little bit like 30. It was 40.
Teddy
Yeah,
or Mike.
Can you hear me?
Okay, I'm going to jump one more time and we'll see if we've all.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Are we?
Yeah,
still...
I wanted to because I heard about the ice. Yeah, but what I did 45 minutes before we started the show, I had it in the freezer and it was just the perfect temperature. Can you hear me now, Charlie?
Yeah.
Yeah, so what I did, like I said, 45 minutes before the show, I had it in the freezer. It became not slushy, but just like really cold before it becomes slushy. And it was just perfect temperature and it was just delicious. Instead of putting it in
I'll
ice.
mention about the whole temperature thing is that, if you let it come up to temp, because, the bottle can last you the whole cigar pretty easily. You're going to find a little bit of flavor transition in the soda as well, as the temperature shifts. And I think that's a fun and interesting thing to experience, on top of just the complexity of flavors that you're going to get by pairing it.
Some good questions from Fireborn. Abbina doesn't use any artificial sweetener, right?
No.
Yeah.
It's
you already talked about it.
Yeah, it's about 75% organic agave, 25% organic cane sugar, and
That's awesome.
I'm not. I would say like virtually every event I do, I get asked, are you going to make a zero sugar one? I did actually try a few iterations of getting the calories down to like 20 per bottle by using not necessarily artificial sweetener, but the natural zero sugar sweeteners. But I don't like that stuff. And the complexity from a business perspective and the logistics perspective is challenging as well. So yeah, at some point, if the business can sustain that, I may go that route. But as of now, unfortunately, for those folks out there who can't have actual sugar, that's all I can offer at the moment.
Yeah, and 100 calories per bottle is not. I mean, that's what the Vinny has. 100 calories.
It's reasonable. You're not chugging the stuff all day long.
Exactly.
Yeah. And it's not like you're drinking like the big brands, Coke or Sprite or whatever, and you keep drinking. Yeah, it's just nothing like a regular soda.
Yep. Let's jump real quick into these other ones here. The Tower 44. This is one I guess this is one I'm most interested in because it's I enjoy cooking as well. So the saffron, and you sort of talked about it a little bit.
Yeah. So saffron again, I jumped onto that ingredient because from my perfumer experience, a lot of people who are making kind of niche and indie perfumes are using saffron to essentially create a leathery quality in the fragrance. And so thinking about wanting a leather flavor in one of the sodas, saffron made a lot of sense to me. I love saffron, in food products. So, this is a saffron that's using a little bit of real saffron and some other artificial ingredients that enhance that and make it come up stronger. But even so, it's still pretty subtle. Again, saffron, similarly to the earthiness in candlewood, but even more subtly, you won't notice it until you sip it a bit and then do that breathing out through your nose. That's when the saffron is actually going to hit you. The patchouli is a little bit stronger, so you can get the patchouli on the nose a bit, but again, comes out a lot more as you're breathing out. And citrus is the first thing that you're going to get on your nose. The rose or geranium quality, the floral quality, kind of comes in and out as you're sipping it, and I think is actually enhanced a lot more when it gets a little bit warmer. When the soda is a little warmer, that pops out a little bit more.
You're kind of right. Yeah, even there, it got warm up a little bit. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
and the suggestion for cigar, you say it's a Habano wrapper or Cuban style medium body.
Yeah, I mean, of the four, I would say Tower is probably the most versatile. It's the lightest of the four flavors. It's the most elegant, it's the most refreshing. I think it's probably the easiest to drink, just generally, and it's the most versatile from a pairing perspective. I don't think there's any cigar that it'll clash with, but I think there's also opportunities to have a more intense pairing experience with other cigars and other flavors. But that's sort of like middle of the road Habano wrapper, maybe with a good amount of spice, but just like kind of counters it with the light sweetness and complement the citrus complements it.
Nice.
Where did the name Tower 44 come from?
So when I was growing up, I was a bit of a train nerd, among many other nerdy qualities. So I like to volunteer at all of these like historic railroad entities that were around where I lived. And so in South Norwalk, Connecticut, there's a railroad museum inside an old New Haven Railroad switch tower. And it was Signal Station 44 is the name of that building.
Oh, okay.
And so it was basically a switch tower for the railroad that would control the switches on the main line there in Norwalk. So I spent a lot of time at that place, and so that's where that name comes from.
Awesome. All right.
How about Vinny?
I was gonna say next we have Vinny. So good transfer.
So Vinny is the name of my first dog, and if any of you have seen the movie Steve Martin, Rick Moranis, maybe it's indicative of who I've become. Like that was one of my favorite movies, like at like 5 years old, which is completely inappropriate for a 5-year-old. But
say, holy cow!
but man, I love that movie. So my first dog was named after Vinny, the character in that movie, and so my soda is named after my dog. Yeah. So like I had mentioned before, Vinny is probably the boldest of the four, or maybe the most eccentric of the four. Intended to replicate the flavors of jerk seasoning. On the nose, you're going to get that kind of tropical fruit. It's a little bit of a pineapple or mango quality, but as soon as it's in your mouth, it's allspice, ginger, a little bit of herbs like thyme, lots of molasses, and that molasses is going to linger. Is the thing that's going to linger on your palate, and then you get a little bit of heat on your throat, which, as you note on the slide here, I did go through like 5 years of not drinking. And in that time, I, bought virtually every non-alcoholic product on the market. And there were a couple, like only one or two, that had heat in them. And I found those to be way more satisfying than any of these non-alcoholic drinks that say like, nootropics or like these kind of like fake euphoric feeling from, like make you mentally stimulated or whatever. I'm like, I like alcohol. Like that alcohol is the thing that makes me feel good. If I can't have alcohol, at least I can have a little bit of burn in my throat, right? Like, and so I wanted one of these flavors to have a little bit of burn. It's never going to give you the same kind of burn that alcohol does, because obviously it's not alcohol, right?
Right.
So it gives you a different physical experience, but that little bit of burn, I think, does give me a little bit of satisfaction.
No, it's really, I really enjoy this one.
There's a really good question from my audience about a pizza.
I was going to ask you about that.
Yes.
I was going to ask you about that.
As long as it's not Chicago pizza.
Wow.
Oh, come on, Charlie.
Sammy Flo wants to know New York or Connecticut pizza.
I couldn't help myself. I'm sorry. I couldn't help myself.
So Sammy Flo wants to know, do you choose New York or Connecticut style pizza?
But yeah, I probably actually prefer New York.
Really?
Lombardi's in New York is awfully good, but
I don't even know what Connecticut style pizza is.
Connecticut's like New Haven.
Yeah.
Yeah, Frank Pepe and yeah.
Okay.
So you don't like dip dish, huh? You just don't like dip dish.
I mean, just come up with a different name for it, and I'm on board. But
Pan.
Yeah.
Pan.
Pizza,
That's it.
pizza
Pan,
casserole.
there's some of them out there that's pan pizza.
Yeah.
So
All right, the Royal Craft sipping soda.
Yeah, so Royale is maybe the most obvious of the four. Starts it's coffee, chocolate as the main thing. Has a lot of vanilla, but I would say actually all four of them have vanilla. If you're looking for it, vanilla is in all four of them. And then there's also kind of a molasses caramel quality to it as well. That you'll find. But yeah, like I said, it's probably the most obvious of the four because I'm using a really good natural coffee extract in it. The coffee is actually a little bit bitter, so this one does have a bit more sweetener than the other three flavors to counteract that bitterness. Also, because it's real coffee, there is a little bit of caffeine in this, the equivalent of maybe a third to a half a cup of coffee.
Mm-hmm.
But it's it's creamy, it's heavier. It is actually pretty versatile from a pairing perspective, I think. Conceptually designed for a Connecticut or a creamy cigar because that's what coffee generally pairs properly with, or for lack of a better term, properly. But like I said, I kind of think it's pretty versatile. I tend to pair it more based on time of day. I like it with my first cigar of the day. And because I tend to prefer a stronger cigar generally and a darker cigar generally. I'm not usually smoking Connecticut's even as my first cigar of the day, but I still like it with my first cigar.
It must be the most popular because you are currently sold out of that one. So yeah, so
that is true. Unfortunately, PCA cleared me out a bit quicker than I was expecting, and getting the bottles that have the pop top, which is what I prefer. Although some of them that you probably have right now, if you have Royale, that's still a pop top, but the other three are not currently. Getting the pop top bottles is actually a little bit challenging in the amber. So it just takes a little bit longer, but I should have it back in 3 or 4 weeks.
Cool. Slosher's got a question. He wants to know, do you have a specific cigar you like to pair with each flavor?
I mean, I can, I could say one off the top of my head for each, but I think they're just there's so many cigars. It's a very challenging, that's a very hard question to answer, right? So yes, I could definitely recommend one to you for each, but I would also recommend kind of feeling through the generalized recommendations and then and going from there, because you're going to find a cigar that you like more than, if you don't like the particular cigar, then my recommendation is no good for you. You know what I mean?
So this seems to be everybody's opinion, and so we will throw it out there. But Wayne wants to know, is there a plan for a root beer style sipping soda? Because everybody thinks root beer pairs the best with cigars.
Proposition appears. So not to burst the bubble on this, but root beer, what you're going to find in anything that is currently on the market labeled as sarsaparilla, anything that's currently on the market labeled as birch beer, all of these things are actually a primary flavor component of a molecule called methyl salicylate. Methyl salicylate is essentially wintergreen. It's mint.
Okay.
And so then you're adding in vanilla, you're adding in cinnamon, you're adding in a bunch of other things that kind of mellow out that minty quality. But the primary flavor component in any of those things is that wintergreen methyl salicylate. I'll say that because I think it's kind of interesting to understand that a lot of the mainstream sodas are just derivative of themselves, right? Like all cola is just lime. Cola is a lime soda with maybe some orange, maybe some cinnamon, maybe some vanilla. Root beer and birch beer and sarsaparilla are all just wintergreen with some of these other things, right? Then you have your lemon lime things, and then you have cherry, just a Dr. Pepper, and then there's like the the cheer wine and the other like kind of more obscure ones. So you're not really dealing with and cream soda is essentially vanilla, right? Like, so like my favorite cream soda is one that's enhanced with flavor notes of strawberry and pineapple. And so, but like most people aren't thinking about it in this way, right? So you kind of have these very limited categories of things, and I have absolutely no interest in making my version of those things. There are enough people out there doing that. I could, like if I spent 20 minutes on the internet, I could order 100 different craft root beers. One of them is going to be good enough for me. I just don't have an interest in doing that. I want to come up with complex flavors where when I tell you 3 or 4 or 5 different things in that, you're going to be like, oh yeah, I can pull all of those things out, and I see how they all go together interestingly, and I see how they can enhance the flavor of other things that I'm pairing them with, whether it's liquor or food or a cigar. So like that's why I'm doing this, right? Like I'm not doing it for the purpose of perfecting somebody else's idea. I want to have something new.
Yeah.
Or matching the same flavor as a root beer style. I see what you're saying. This is
right.
Yeah,
so
awesome
I think there are actually things that we can pull out from other ideas, right, that are interesting. Like, I am starting with a cherry in candlewood, but I don't think anybody's going to say it tastes like Dr. Pepper or cheer wine, right? Like it's a completely different concept. So there are some associations, but and I honestly, like when I'm doing sampling events, people will tell me, even in the same event, all 4 different flavors, a different person will say this tastes like cream soda to me, because there is vanilla in all 4 of them, and that's just the thing that pops out to that particular person and their palate.
Yeah. Awesome.
beautiful.
All right, well, what do you think we get to some wild tales here? We haven't done that. It's a little segment we like to call Wild Tales, Charlie, and you can sort of understand our craziness in this group. Okay.
Get ready for a tale that you won't believe. Wild tales from the wild side.
Welcome to Wild Tales from the Wild Side, brought to you by Drew Estate. Mike, what stories do you have for us today?
Well, I got one, and this video, Marty actually found this video, but this video actually went viral, where it was even on ESPN at one point. So let's see if we can add this here. That's when the dogs control over you.
They want to have fun.
They did. Once they see what they want, boy, it's it. They've got more pull than you can handle. So
it's crazy how you just not just think, is it 2 dogs or 3 dogs? It's 2 dogs. That's
the crest.
That's funny.
So and here's a couple that I found. This is sort of crazy, but that's probably me on my lawnmower at some point. It's getting dragged. The guy's getting dragged across the grass.
Oh boy. I'm here. Oh, that's happened. Oh, sucks. Ah. Oh man.
I
Those
got
are some
one more.
funny
Oh,
ones, man.
hold on, let's see if we can do this one here. Is that the same one?
Yeah, same one. Yeah.
Let me remove this. Hold on a second here. Let's see. Did we just do this one? Sorry. Yep, that's the same one. Hold on. Oh, technically challenged today for sure. I don't know what's going on, but let's see if I got one more here for you. Nope. Bear with me, folks. And when I logged out, everything that I had on here disappeared. So I'm like,
Oh, you have more?
Yeah, I've got one more here for you. I got one more for you here. No, that's Smarties. Oh,
Teddy, how
Lord.
did your event turn out last weekend?
It was very good. I'm gonna be honest with you. It wasn't as successful. Not I would say successful, big as it was with Patina, due to the fact there was a lot of people out of town. It was end of May. It was a lot of people still for, kids getting off of school, the first vacation of the year. But it was a nice, successful, different new. It was a lot of new people. I would say that because last time with Patina event that we had at Ultimate, it was a lot of people from different cigar groups. It was different, but this time it was just different people that I saw online that we had Black Label Trading Company event. It was really nice.
All right, one more set of videos and then we'll wrap this show up. This is why you don't have Ring doorbells. Teddy, you'll like this one.
Oh boy! Oh man! I'm so this Ring cameras.
Pick it up. Oh Jesus!
These Ring cameras are gold, man.
Oh, that's why I will not get a Ring camera. I will not get one just because at some point it's going to catch me doing something I don't want it to catch me doing. So,
Charlie, I have a weird question. So, if you finish Tower 44, you're still smoking through, like you say, have another cigar, or you're smoking the same cigar, you almost halfway or 1/3. Can you drink the Royale, or you just basically need a different cigar to pair with, or you think I could just see the flavors in the nose with another, one of the four with the same cigar, for example, that I'm smoking?
I mean, I don't, I'm not going to police your own.
No, just recommendations. Maybe you say, finish a cigar, and maybe just I want to pair with a different, or I could just continue with the same cigar.
I mean, I don't think it's the end of the world. I mean,
Sure.
some of the flavor might linger on your palate long enough that you're going to mix it up. But I think if you're drinking the next flavor, it's probably going to wash out the stuff that was there relatively quickly. So I think you'd probably be safe.
Okay.
I want to experiment with these in all different kinds of cigars and see.
Yeah, I mean, when I'm sampling it for people, I take you through all four flavors.
Yeah.
In the course of like 2 minutes. So that can end up being a little bit muddy for some people. And so I think it's kind of a potentially similar experience, just on a more intense scale. But I would think it washes out pretty quick if you're having it, because if you're, if I like to drink seltzer at the same time I'm drinking Abbina, because I don't really want to necessarily drink all that. One is enough for me for when I'm sitting and having a cigar.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm having multiple cigars, I probably will have one. So I might have two sodas. I probably have the same one. But I'm kind of just drinking the seltzer more for the sake of hydration, right?
Yeah.
So I kind of push it out, but I think if you were following it up with something that doesn't have a lot of flavor, that could end up overwhelming it. But I think any of the four of my sodas are strong enough that it'll probably cover up the previous one relatively quickly.
Val has a real interesting concept, and I don't know if this even. He says setting up a small flight with the cigar.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's kind of similar to how I sample it for
Okay.
folk. Yeah, I mean, I think it's probably good to space that out a little bit.
Mhm.
I mean, luckily the cigar gives you enough time to do that. So
Sure.
yeah, you could
Yeah.
definitely I mean, if a group of 4 guys got together or 4 people got together and were each smoking the same cigar and had one bottle of each flavor and transition through, I think that would be an awfully fun experience.
Yeah, no, that'd be great. That'd be great.
Yeah, I'm really thankful. I'm really thankful for what you're doing, and especially for the people that like me, that I don't drink obviously alcohol. There's pretty sure there's people out there that just keep doing your thing, and you're gonna be doing great in the future. So
Appreciate
I'm really
it.
thankful. Yeah, thank you,
Yeah.
Charlie.
I just want to read something real quick. It comes with your soda when you get it from Charlie,
Mhm.
but the key tip, the taste versus flavor. Here's what it says. The human tongue can detect 5 tastes: sweet, sour, bitter, salty, and umami. But the human nose can detect infinite smells. When we talk about flavor, we're actually referring to the smell that we detect at the back of our throats up into our noses, a smelling process called retronasal olfaction. Did I say that right?
Olfaction.
Olfaction? Okay, sorry. This is why it's important to experience Albina both by smelling through the nose and finding other flavors by sipping it. I think what this is absolutely fantastic. So you can't see it. It's fantastic. This is I am so excited that Teddy pushed us to get you on the show. I'm super excited that we were able to enjoy this. And I'm looking forward to ordering some more because this is just a different experience. It's a different experience smoking the cigar.
Definitely,
with soda.
yes.
I picked up different flavors that I hadn't picked up before, and I'm excited. I'm like, gee, I need to get a bunch of these to be able to just see what it brings out in other cigars. So yeah, like Teddy said, keep doing what you're doing. You're on our show. We're gonna keep promoting your product because I believe in it. We don't promote stuff that we don't believe in, and you will have a regular spot on our show to make sure that we continue to tell people about it. If you didn't hear us say it, but it's abbinasoda.com. Head on over there, pick yourself up a sample pack, try them out. Let us know what you think.
You won't be disappointed.
No, you definitely will not. And I think it's Charlie, it's fantastic. It really is. It really
This just has nothing to do with the mainstream sodas. Like nothing, not even close. So just thank you for that.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I very much appreciate the support and I love talking about it and appreciate you indulging my nerdy approach to the whole thing, because when I actually get to talk about it in depth, it's I think a lot of fun, and there is so much opportunity for that sort of sensory exploration with it, and so it's a blast for me to be able to share that with people who are interested in it.
And Joe Machado is always our marketing guy. He says that he sees an immediate marketing idea for Charlie. You reach out to cigar companies. He likes to smoke with each flavor and get sponsors. So yeah, I mean, this is fantastic.
Yeah, I have done some nice partnerships. I do a lot of events with the Foundation Cigars rep who does the kind of New England and New York area.
Nice.
Drew Estate had me at their barn smoker last year, and that was a great experience. So yeah, it's I love being able to collaborate with the cigar companies, and yes, I agree. One of them should sponsor.
Yeah. And it's funny. I do a gathering of Aganorsa smokers once a month, and Terrence Riley was on there, and I mentioned this show. I don't know how many people, a few people from the Acolytes joined on tonight at one point. So yeah.
Before we close, I have one more question. Tell me 3 of your favorite brands. 3 of your favorite brands for cigars.
So Warped is one of them, and
Nice.
that started because at the time Aganorsa was their primary manufacturer.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so I do love Aganorsa. So Warped Foundation is another one that I love, and their use of Connecticut broadleaf from a farm that is so close to me is really exciting. Third company, I don't know, like Rojas. I'll go with Rojas. I love
Rojas. Yeah. Beautiful.
Awesome. Well, again, thank you very much. We appreciate you. You'll hear from us again. We won't keep you away. So, Marty,
Take it,
close
Charlie.
us out.
All right. Yeah. Thanks. Enjoyed. I'm looking forward to trying the other flavors that I have here and pairing those with cigars. And until then, everybody, put some smoke in the air.